Nerd could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerd could rise up. It could get elevated.
There is a new show down on Disney Plus, and we're gonna talk about it on our podcast. Podcast.
Oh, that's where you're going with it. Okay.
The show's name is Loki. Loki. God of Mischief. Oh, wait, hold on.
God of Mischief.
And he left. Hey, it was clever. So, welcome to Every Man's Guide to Nerddom, where we are two guys who are in our... And I fucked that up, too. I don't know where I am today. See what happens when we're off for a week?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm just sitting here letting you dig a hole. I'll talk a little bit.
Big hole. Okay. Take two. Welcome to Every Man's Guide to Nerddom, where we are two 30 to 40-something-year-olds who talk about pretty much whatever we want. I got it that time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Kyle, and you guys might know us from online on the Twitches as Guyver. That's that guy over there. Bam, bam. Guyver UNT01 and KSIG, K_SIG. That's me. And we stream when we can.
Lately. And yeah, we've been off. We apologize for the lateness. We're gonna put out 2 next week. By the time you guys hear this, we'll have 2 out, and then we'll have 2 in the bank to release and try and get caught up. But real life happens sometimes, unfortunately. So that's
we had
where
a
we
lot
are
of
with
it
that.
this week. There's
Yeah, we had a
real
lot
life
of
this
it.
week.
And then let's see, you had baseball games all week,
Like 3 of them.
and out in
Well,
the
I
heat.
didn't.
So
The kid did. And
the kid did.
yeah,
Kyle
night.
tried to play. They kicked him out.
they did. I'm like, no.
And it
sir.
might be a little rough today. I will tell you.
It was just long.
It's
Long
so
night.
go ahead, sir.
Oh, I just went out to, there was a little local bar here in town. They had a Irish band come in and playing, like traditional songs and stuff. And I went out to that. And then
Kyle pretended he was part of the crew. Not saying Irish or anything. I'm just saying part of the crew down at the bar.
Yeah. Till about a couple hours after everything closed down and stuff. And I am tired. Dragging, boys.
So Kyle texted me earlier and I called him and he goes, I'm hurt. And I go, don't you know you're old? And what was your response?
I know now.
Let's go back to episode 1.
The aging nerd.
The aging nerd. So yeah, so Kyle figured out real quick he can't do that.
But once a year, I had to have a little reminder.
And he did it.
I got that out of my system.
Oh, good.
Until next summer.
So it was a little rough. We apologize. I've driven to basically Texas and back today, getting my oldest. And then as soon as I got home, because I'm stupid, because the girls wanted to go swim, I went and mowed the yard. So I'm a little tired right now.
I was going to mow mine today, but yeah, we know how that worked out.
No, you weren't.
It really was.
Best intentions.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about episode 1 of Loki. We're going to nerk it, and I'm super excited about this one because I'm really enjoying this show. The 2 episodes in, we're on episode 1 is what we're going to talk about. We're going to go ahead and start.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's all sorts of theories and whatnot. So we start off in New York City. It's just basically a recap of what happened in Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're just seeing how Loki making fun of them as he gets captured. They won't let Hulk on the elevator. Poor Hulk.
Well, he's, huge.
He is huge, but that's huge-ism. And I'm getting my notes here too. So basically, it's just going here. We're going to fast forward a little bit because you guys all know what happened.
Yep.
When Loki got his hands on the Tesseract, disappeared. But this shows us what happened after he got his hands on the Tesseract. And I did like how the Marvel Studios was the Loki green and yellow.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool.
They do something
Next thing
look with each of these, their series and different things that it's cool how they do that. You're talking about the Marvel Studio intro.
Right.
Yeah. It's just cool how they do that with it.
I love that. That's like one of my favorite things they do. Next thing you know, we see like it kind of looked like Tatooine to me.
I was thinking of
Desert.
what was it? The Mummy.
Oh yeah. But next thing you know, we see Loki. He gets ported down and hits the ground. And you hear this dog, and you look like these people who look like Mongolians, basically.
It's the damn Mongolians.
Damn Mongolians! If you watch South Park, it's the shitty chicken.
Shitty chicken.
It's the
See, and
shitty
you can make that
chicken.
joke now. I can't.
Yeah, thank you, fellas. Which is true. I shouldn't, but I could. I can.
Get a pass. It's not.
I get a pass. So Loki gets up on this rock and starts a very, very Loki speech. I am Loki of Asgard. He's telling them, worship me. Why he's there. And yeah, it is Mongolian. And they say, who are you? Why do you come to our home? And he says in English, I. And then all of a sudden you see this little mirror pop out in these,
I wasn't sure what I thought about their uniforms at first.
I'm trying to think of it. Kind of looks like Star-Lord's helmet from the comics. To me, it kind of looks like his uniform from the comics a little bit.
Yeah.
So you know which version I'm talking about too.
Mm-hmm.
So, they come and then they're looking at the Tesseract, and Loki's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Never mind." He's like, "Don't touch that." And they pull out their little batons. And out pops this one lady who I was looking at Lily and I go, is that Amanda Waller?
She's an intimidating woman.
She is. And like, no, that's wrong universe. That's DC. But you can tell she's someone of importance. So the other 3 people come out together.
Yeah.
She comes out of her own portal. And she is extremely intimidating. And if you look at her chest plate, it says TVA on there. So if you know the comics, which Kyle and I do, that's the Time Variance Authority. We'll find out more of that later here. But she's talking about a violation, and she's holding up her Game & Watch. Does it not look like a Game & Watch?
It looks like almost like it could be like a gold Game Boy something.
Oh, yeah. It's the Pikachu gold one or whatever. She goes, on behalf of the Time Variance Authority, I hereby arrest you for crimes against the sacred timeline. Hands up, which we knew that Loki would be about time jumps.
Yeah.
What's the other word I'm looking for? Time.
Well, variances. I mean,
Time
there's
variances. Yeah.
So, how much did you know going into this episode about? How much did you know about the show? Right.
Zero.
Okay, so I went in totally blind too. I just knew there was going to be a Loki show, and I didn't want to look up anything on it.
I'm the same.
And so, I like how they jumped right into it. Like there was not a whole. I mean, there wasn't a need for a lot of buildup. And it's like this is what it's going to be, and they just jumped right into the TVA coming out.
Look at her shoulder. I know it looks like it. If you look at her helmet, it says B-19.
Yeah.
But if you look at her little shoulder pad on the right there, it would be her left, our right.
Yeah.
It looks like it says bad.
Oh, she's.
See, does it not? I know it's B-19.
I came from a batch of bad ones.
She's a bad batch.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of the bad batch. Different universe.
And she's wearing a tie.
She is wearing a tie. I never noticed that.
Very formal.
That's better than wearing a dickie.
Mhm.
So that would be Paul Lind comes out from the portal. If you don't know who Paul Lind is, I'm sorry, but that's fucking funny. Just go look it up. He was the center square for Hollywood Squares
Way back.
way back when, but he was hilarious. Just a huge alcoholic. So basically, they're arresting Loki, and he's like, "You're coming with us." He's like, "Who's us?" And they go, "Last chance variant." Now, this brings up an interesting thing. They know who Loki is. You can tell they know who
Mhm.
he is, but they refer to him as variant. And at this point, I don't know about you. I was going, "What the fuck is variant?" I mean, if it's dealing with the time, the TVA, we know it's Time Variance Authority. We know it's something with time. But I'm sorry, time travel gives me a headache, dude.
It's
Like
like if I don't think about it too much, I'm fine.
Yeah. But once you start
Especially
thinking about it,
later in this episode and in the next episode, if I don't think about it too much, I'm fine. If I really start thinking about it, it's like, well, that doesn't. Why does? And they sort of explain it in a way later,
mhm,
and it's it's them just basically telling us just take it for what it is. Like
Right.
this is what's going to be. Just take it for that,
right.
and you enjoy it more if you do that. I think.
I agree. That's why I have such a love hate with Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who, which we will be covering. Doctor Who's like 50 plus years, so we won't be doing Nerkies on it. It'll be a big overview. It might be a couple episodes, but we're going to do that. We're eventually going to get back to regular episodes too, but it's just so much damn good stuff out right now.
Yeah.
Kyle and I have actually been racking our brains about doing different episodes to do. And we think we got a couple solid ones getting ready to come up. I've just got to get past summer work right now. Loki just kind of, smirks at him, says, "I think I've had my fill of idiots in armored suits telling me what to do," referring to Iron Man. Because he just got done with that part.
Yeah, this is really I keep thinking we gotta go back. This is back when that happened.
Yep. Now he's like, "Now, if you pardon me, now get out of my way." And she just whacks him in the face, and his face just goes in slow motion, just the vibrations from whacking like his hair.
I absolutely love this part.
I did too. And, here's where they throw you for a loop, because you think it's like, the regular TV show where they're hitting you slow motion and everything's in slow motion. No, she just comes up full speed, puts a slap bracelet. Yeah, puts a slap bracelet around his his neck. And she says, "You're now moving at 1/16th speed, but feeling all the pain in real time." And I'm like, "Oh, that sucks."
Here's the
But
thing.
yeah, it's a great part.
And this establishes early on, like, these are some pretty powerful people.
You don't fuck with them.
Like, yeah, she just bitch slapped Loki.
So,
like it was nothing.
Yeah, so Loki weighs like 525 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, he's solidly built. He's one of the weakest of the Asgardians.
Oh yeah, because they're heavier. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and don't forget he's actually a frost giant. But she bitch slapped him. And she said, "Reset the timeline." And then they picked up the Tesseract like it was nothing. And if you remember, people couldn't just pick up the Tesseract without some sort of consequence too.
Yeah. Well, they had gloves on.
They had gloves. Yeah, that helped. They put this thing down and released it. And then all of a sudden it turned colors.
Yep. Their little cold coffee press.
Cold coffee. That's what it does look like. And all of a sudden it starts spreading. And so we know from there, they just reset a timeline. They appear in this place, which we assume now is TVA Headquarters. And they're like, "What species variant scroll?" And if you look there at the beginning, there's a scroll in like a tracksuit there.
Yeah.
which is very interesting because we've only seen Skrulls a couple times before, but we know that they're going to be heavy players in Phase 4 because of Secret Wars that's coming up for the TV show.
Mhm.
And you know, it's Phase 4 is cosmic, and they're cosmic.
Be interesting to see if they come into play any more in this series, or if that's just like a little, hey, they're still here. Don't forget about these guys. Little nod.
Right. And then we get this one prick. He's like, my dad is the president of Goldman Sachs. And he's like, well, I'm calling your whole job is privatized. He's just this little prick earthling. And the reason that we want to take note of this guy is because he plays a big part coming up.
Oh, the guy's being let in.
Yep.
Okay.
Goldman Sachs boy. Trust fund baby. It's like, all right, how do you like that? And Loki tries to run, and she hits this button, and he appears right back where he is. He goes to run again. She just kind of, let me press the rewind button, and he keeps going back to the same spot he is. And her name is Hunter B15. It's not 18 or 19, whatever I said. It's B15.
I like how everything in the TVA, and you see more as the episode goes on, is like stuck in like 1976, maybe, or no, probably older than that.
Like 50s.
50s, very Art Deco.
Well, and except they got like modern. It's a computer.
Yeah, but it's not a modern, like tiny screen, big box.
You know what it looks like to me? It looks like your computers in Fallout.
Yeah, that's what my daughter said as we were watching this. She kept getting Fallout vibes from everything in the TVA.
Yeah, and I mean it is very art. What did you say? Art Deco.
Yeah.
Like if looking at this main check-in room, it's like pure. I would say 60s, 70s.
Like maybe early 60s, coming out of the 50s. I don't know. It's a cool style. I like it.
Before we were born.
Mhm.
And then okay, I love this guy behind the desk. I think he might be a reoccurring bit character, but I love him.
He kind of reminds me of the guy that worked with Vision in WandaVision, in a way.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
The guy with the computer.
What was his name? I don't remember. Yeah, he kind of reminds me of him.
The guy who Vision freed.
Uh-huh.
Momentarily. Yeah, I could see that. He's like, oh, can you at least tell me what this is? You know, he's grabbing it, and she's like, I'll process him. Loki's like, it's the Tesseract. Be very careful with it. You know, Loki way. And the guy goes, it sounds dumb. I love that. And then she goes and pulls this lever to call the elevator, which I thought was weird.
Everything, all the tech here is weird. All the tech is weird.
And then she puts him in this place. And I mean, it's not an elevator. It's like processing. And then Hal comes to life.
I love this robot.
I do too. It's very hands-on.
Mm-hmm. It's like a Mr. Handy.
It is a Mr. Handy. Harry. And it's just smiling at him. This old-time robot. It's a Fallout robot is what it is. And it tries to pull off Loki stuff. And he goes, this is the finest Asgardian leather. And the robot makes this weird face. You really have to see this to get the effect of it. And they go, hold very still, and then disintegrates Loki's clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm going to say it. Loki is ripped.
He is. Good on him.
And then he drops butt naked, and then he's in like prison gear. And now he comes to this room, and there is a cat, which we know from Marvel, cats usually aren't cats if they're in some sort of cosmic place.
Yeah.
This is probably like the same species.
What was that from? That was
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the name of the species. Cat from. So B-Rob was supposed to be doing this with us, but our schedules just could not align for the first two. It's a flurkin.
It's a flurkin.
It's a
B-Rob would have
flurkin.
known right off the top.
Yeah, he would have. So we're going to try and get B-Rob in here for at least episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
But we're chugging along without him. And it's not even silent B-Rob because he hasn't been here yet. So we can't even make that joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like silent Coda.
Yeah.
By the way, great job on editing that, because that
Thought
looked
you'd
great.
like
If you
that.
guys haven't, go watch the opening and begin and endings of our last 2 Nerkies for Bad Batch, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Got the cute
Okay,
little flirkin.
it's a flirkin, and this guy pushes this set of papers and said, "Here, please sign this. This is everything you've ever said." And
He's
Loki's
got a
like,
flirkin
"What?"
mug too.
He does. Oh, he does, doesn't he?
Mhm.
I didn't even notice that. And then he's using a dot matrix printer. And Loki just said that another one came off, and he's like, "Sign this too." And it literally says, "What?" And every time he's saying, "Oh, this is absurd," here's another paper. He's like, "And this." Like, I don't know why I found this so funny.
This
I don't
whole
know.
this whole sequence of him getting processed from before this and then continuing on the next couple of scenes is great.
You see the soundboard over there on the left, and then the XLR mic.
Mm-hmm. It's all not the prop maker, but the set designer and whoever gathered all the props did. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's a great job. Loki decides to just sign everything, and he angry signs it too.
Mhm.
And he signed
How
it
do you think he
big.
signed it? Do you think he just signed it as Loki, or do you think he signed it as like Loki, God of Mischief? Or
I think he just did Loki because it was really quick.
okay.
And then he
I
looked
wonder how
defiant.
I wonder how he would sign his name.
Just a big middle finger.
Mhm.
Loki falls. He looks at the guy defiantly, falls again, and looks up. And then he's looking at this other place, and he points up at the guy. And then it's like a metal detector, but it's not. It's made out of wood with wires.
Is it wood, or is it just kind of,
I mean, look at it. It's wood right there.
or is that like scorching?
No, I think that's wood.
I think it looks almost like carbon, like
Carbonite.
carbon, like scorching, like carbon scoring. That's the word I was looking for.
I don't know. I think it's wood. Like they used to have in those old 80s, 70s, 80s houses that used to build those wooden pillars, like that would be at the entryways. That's what it reminded me of. And then this one guy there, he's kind of like we'll call him Check-in Brad. I don't know why. He just looks like his name's Brad.
He looks like a Brad.
He looks like a Brad. Check-in Brad goes, "Please confirm to your knowledge that you're not a fully robotic being," which I found just really interesting. "We're born an organic creature, and in fact, you possess what many cultures would call a soul." So, interesting fact about this. The TVA once hired some killers, not really killers, but agents in the comics, named LCD and Albert. Albert was a cybernetic clone of Wolverine, and LCD was a little android.
Okay.
He looked like a little girl. They were hired by the TVA, so I just thought that was kind of a cool little reference, saying, you're an organic being, not a robot.
I like the confusion on his face too.
Like that look right there. Oh,
Mhm.
that's our cover. Also looks like Loki smelled some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But he says, "What? To my knowledge," I can't do the Loki, but you get it.
Yeah.
A lot of people not know that they're robots. "Thank you for confirming. Move through," says Brad.
Now how cautious he is.
Yeah. He's like, "What if I was a robot and didn't know it? The machine would melt you from the inside out. Please move along, sir."
See, it is metal. That's what that is. See the lines coming up. That has to be where something got melted.
Oh, yeah,
thought.
yeah. The robotic beings.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you. So that's just a red metal. Okay, you're right.
Like his sigh of relief.
Yes. Okay, I'm not a robot, so I'll be fine. He walks through, light shines on him. He doesn't melt. It's like, what? Check-in Brad grabs the Polaroid. He's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Please, through the door." It just confirms he's not there. And he goes into this bank teller room where
Oh,
the
that
police...
was his what Orda? What do they call it? Hold on, I'm gonna go back here. He tells him what it is.
His soul.
No, it's his temporal
Temporal
aura.
aura.
Yeah.
Which shows that you're a real being, I'm guessing. He goes into this bank room, or you're in line to get a movie ticket.
Yeah.
And we see little Goldman Sachs prick in there, and he's like, "What is this, a deli?" He's like, "No." And they're like, take a number. There's a please take a number thing up there.
I like the poster on the wall with the little TVA mascot, I guess you could say, the clock.
Miss Universe or whatever her name is.
This is behave or to get your clock cleaned.
I didn't even notice that. That guy, Goldman Sachs Gold Dick, he just walks on through. He's like, "No, I'm not taking a number." He's like, "There's only 2 of us here." The Minuteman says, "Take a ticket," and Loki's just sitting watching this guy, and he's like, "Whatever." He takes a ticket begrudgingly, holds it up to his face, puts it in his pocket. Like, you can almost see him flipping him off.
The stare down as he walks through. I like how almost like humiliated he is to this whole thing. Like, this is just a terrible. It's a shitty thing to kind of go through anyway. But then in his mind, he's like, above all this anyway.
Yep.
But he's still having to go through it all.
Yep. Well, and here's what kind of cracks me up too. It hasn't really sunk in, but I think on some level it has, that he's powerless. Because he's getting ported everywhere. He's not used to that. He's not used to being the one manhandled. And he's like, "This is all a mistake. I'm not even supposed to be here." And then you hear a voice over the PA going, "Hey there, you're probably saying this is a mistake. I shouldn't even be here."
I love that.
And there's the little mascot, and it's like, "Welcome to the Time Variance Authority. I'm Miss Minutes." Miss Minutes is her name. "It's my job to catch you up before you start your trial for your crimes." Flash fact, do you know who her voice is?
I couldn't pinpoint it. I didn't look it up, but it sounded so familiar.
Tara Strong.
Tara Strong. So
that's one of the best looking women in voice acting today. She does a lot of acting. She is Harley Quinn in the new Batman animated movies. She is Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls. She is She's Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony. She is her first gig when she was like 16, I think. She was Hello Kitty in the 80s. Tara Strong does everything. She's Raven in Teen Titans. Teen Titans Go, Teen Titans.
Yeah. The little guy, he's obsessed with Teen Titans right now.
Oh, yeah. So
that's
where
okay, that makes sense now. Because I've been hearing that over and over and over again.
She's a voice chameleon. She's amazing. So Miss Minutes is there to catch you up what's going on for your crimes. So she knows they're all criminals that are coming through here. So let's not waste another minute. She's like, "Check it out." You hear this thunderclap, and then this very cartoony 50s. Long ago, there was a vast. Yeah, it was. She said there was a vast universal war. What did she say? Multi-universal war.
I don't know. We probably want to get this one like right.
Long ago, there was a vast multiversal war.
Okay.
You see these ships and everything just destroyed. Countless unique timelines battled each other for supremacy, nearly resulting in the total destruction of, everything. She said, but then the all-knowing timekeepers emerged. Okay, this is super, super important. You see the first guy on the left with he kind of looks like Mantis a little bit with this gem in his forehead. The middle one with blue dots around his face and a red gem. And then the last guy who is yellow with a red gem in his forehead and like a Theodore Roosevelt mustache.
Is it a stash? It may be a stash. Well,
maybe.
Wasn't it? Didn't they kind of tie it in and make it all canon that all of Stan Lee's appearances was he was a timekeeper, or he was a? Hold on, I gotta look this up now. I should have had this before.
a Minuteman, a Gopher.
Yeah.
He was in Zack Attack. I'm just gonna keep throwing stuff out there. He was Olaf. He was a Jedi.
No.
I was still looking.
Still looking. I had read this somewhere.
He was a man. Now he's a man. Man. If you don't know that song, that's by DVDA.
I can't find it. Oh, hold on here.
It'll come back to you when you're not.
I think I may have found it.
expecting
So you keep going through that. I think I may have found.
At this point, I had a nerder because I'm like, just figured out how they're tying this all together based off this picture. Because one of the timekeepers, if the one in the middle, blue, that has to be Kang the Conqueror, who has been confirmed for Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumania. So he looks like Kang the Conqueror, and I'm almost positive he's Kang the Conqueror at this point.
Okay, I found the article I was looking for. Keep
Okay,
going. I'm
but
scrolling through it here.
Okay, you scroll through. So, bringing peace by reorganizing the multiverse into a single timeline. So there's no multiverse. It's just called the sacred timeline. That's what they were referring to earlier. Now the timekeepers protect and preserve the proper flow of time. And then they have a very 50s, 60s cartoon. And to me, it looked like, if any of you guys remember it was the Gerald McBoing Boing cartoons where the kid couldn't talk. He could only make sounds. And that's what the animation reminded me of. It says, but sometimes people like you veer off the path the timekeepers created. And it shows them walking this different path. And it says, we call those variants. And then it shows different variants of this guy. So maybe you start an uprising or you were just late to work. Whatever it was, stepping off your path created a nexus event. And when left unchecked, could branch off into madness, leading into another multiversal war. But
Danger,
don't worry.
multiverse.
Yeah, make sure that doesn't have the time creepers created the TVA and all its incredible workers. The TVA has stepped in to fix your mistake and set time back on its predetermined path. Now that your actions have left you without a place on the timeline, you must stand trial for your offenses. So sit tight and we'll get you in front of a judge in no time. Just make sure you have your tickets and you'll be seen by the next available attendant. So this brings up another big thing. This is the second time we've heard of Nexus and keeping you on time, keeping you on track.
Going back to WandaVision.
WandaVision, if you remember the commercial, it was the Nexus, and it was talking about time.
So
Is
what
it
I
all
found
connected? Probably.
this Stan Lee thing, every cameo he had through all the MCU stuff, it was confirmed that he was the same character in each of those cameos.
Really? I didn't know that.
He wasn't someone different. He was the same person at different points in time.
Okay, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Which would have tied his cameos probably into the TVA, like he was an agent, or did something for the Time Watchers.
Right.
Because there was wasn't that one of the scenes he was sitting? Was it in Guardians 2?
Guardians 2, he was in the.
He was sitting with a group of aliens known as the Watchers, where he makes a reference to that time. He was a package delivery man. So he was his cameo character was probably like a TVA agent, or they could make it that way now, I guess, if they wanted to.
Yeah, they could retcon that very, very easy. I could see that. Okay, I could see that. So I didn't know that. So food for thought, flash fact.
Yeah, I mean, it's already been confirmed that was the same character back in like 2017, I think is what the article was from.
Oh wow. So yeah, they could easily retcon that. Okay, so the TVA is for all time, always, and Loki's just scoffing at it. It's like timekeepers, the sacred timeline. Who actually believes this bunkum? And the guy, Minuteman, goes, "Ticket, sir," and the guy's like, "I don't have a ticket." And he's like, "Ticket, sir." He's like, "I tried to ask that guy for a ticket." And this is a gold
Golden's-
dick
Yeah.
that was just like, he didn't have. If you look at the sign back there, you see 0 tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is a nod to X-Men or not, or it's just saying there's 0 tolerance for this.
What do you mean a nod to X-Men?
So there was a very, very big storyline in X-Men called Operation Zero Tolerance.
Oh.
It didn't really deal with this, but in a way it did, because they used the Nimrods of the future to make them into like people.
Okay.
So, another one trying to get rid of the mutants, but I don't know. It could just be, I'm looking too much into this, but it could just be 0 tolerance if you don't have the ticket. But I'm kind of hoping it's a nod to the X-Men.
Be cool.
So the guy's looking, and he's like, "What, you raising your voice at me, Buckethead?" The guy takes out his little baton, and it says "Warble Screams" if you have the captions on. He hits the guy, and the guy disappears. It's the same light and the same method that they reset the timeline. Loki looks just with his mouth open, all of a sudden just starts looking for that ticket.
I like the guy behind the window there, like as that guy's getting, we find, what do they call it, pruning them? That's what they say.
Yes.
The look on his face is that dude gets pruned. He's just like, just like nodding in agreement.
Oh,
Not
it's
even shocked
awesome.
or anything, but it's like, oh, that's what you get, dick.
Dick. Well, and then Loki, looking for that ticket, then all of a sudden holds it up, and then we go to the opening theme.
All right,
12 minutes in.
We're 12 minutes in.
But I really, really like this, the way that they did this opening.
What
Because-
what did it make you think of?
And
then I'll tell you what it made me think of.
I was trying to think of that. Like, it made me think of a lot of different shows. Like, it reminded me of Stranger Things.
Okay.
It reminded me of XFiles.
That one was mine. Was the X-Files.
Mostly XFiles, but like all these, it's going through the LOKI is going through different fonts.
Mhm.
And I just thought it was really cool. And I didn't see any 2 repeat.
I thought one did. No?
Oh,
Maybe?
apparently, no, it does repeat. It's
It
just,
rolls through.
I wasn't paying attention. But I just think it looked really cool.
So I think what we're seeing here with these series that are coming out, there's a theme to all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Falcon, Winter Soldier, which is now Captain America and Winter Soldier,
Mm-hmm.
had that buddy cop
Right.
kind of genre feel to it. This has that. Later on, we see it gives me more of that X-Files kind of feel to it. How they do some of their investigations and stuff. And so it's kind of cool that it's not just
Yeah,
sticking.
it
like
is.
there's a theme to it. And
Each
I
of their
like it.
shows.
Mhm.
I didn't think about that. Good point, sir.
but what they're doing with this one is kind of feels more like what we were hoping that they would do with oh god, I just went blank. Forget Jimmy Woo and Darcy. Like how we were talking, like how cool it would be if they did like an X-Files type thing.
Which I'm still holding out for.
I would love a Jimmy Woo and Darcy.
Darcy.
Mhm.
Or Woo Darcy.
Woo, Darcy.
I'm still holding
That's
out
what I
for
say
that.
when she pops up on the screen. Ooh, Darcy.
Ooh, Darcy. I think we all do.
Mhm.
I adore Darcy.
Yep.
Next thing you know, we see this. It looks like a crime scene, except it says, I'm not even going to pretend to try and pronounce this.
The Axon province. Axon. I don't know.
Oxen province. I don't know what. It's in France, so you did not do a French accent.
Not at all. Not at all.
Oxen province. You did like a German.
It's like a German Irish thing that still carrying over from last night.
Yeah, I think that's the whiskey.
There's a lot of whiskey and a lot of Guinness. A lot.
Dumbass.
I was trying to keep count and then I lost count. And then I don't know. It's a blur.
Do you know how you got home?
Yeah, I got to ride home. They have people to DD from the bar.
Oh, that's
If
cool.
you call them, they'll come pick you up and then they'll take you home.
And that's the benefit of living in a small town, because you could not do that here.
Oh, well, there you can Uber, though.
Yeah, you can Uber, but
You don't know
you
who
have to
your
pay
Uber's
for
going
that.
to be.
Yeah, did you have to pay for it?
Mm-mm. No.
See, again, that's the difference.
Nope.
Lucky ass.
It would have been like maybe a $6 Uber. It's only like 4 or 5 blocks, like
Oh,
small
you could
town
have
blocks.
stumbled home. You could have rolled there.
Yeah, but I'm not walking. Yeah, after dark around here. No, I'm too pretty. I'll get kidnapped.
You're pretty. But they're in 1549. They're in France, which means we have TVA because we see the soldiers around there. The hunter and his Minutemen responded, and then next thing you know, you look and it's Owen Wilson.
Look at that. Oh, so, okay. I'm trying to look at the stained glass behind him.
Joan of Arc.
Joan of Arc. Okay. I'm going to be looking at all those now.
See the armor.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was a saint by this point in time, too. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, I think that's Joan of Arc.
Wow, we got Owen Wilson.
And Owen Wilson. And then he's just talking about how this looks consistent with all the others, which means they're investigating multiple crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, and the reset charge is gone. That's the 6th attack in the last week, is what they said. So we know that something's attacking the TVA agents.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see this, I'm going to call him a peasant. Peasant stumbles in.
Peasant.
They're getting ready to eradicate him.
The plebe.
The plebe. And Owen's like, in French, I'm sorry, my friend is an imbecile, and imbecile. And then I like this part because the guy who he was talking to, what is it, U-92?
Mm-hmm. I speak every language in the timeline too, jackass.
Yeah. Hey, yo, I speak every language on the timeline too. Yep. I love that part.
I wonder what their designations mean. The U and the B.
I don't know. I'd be interested
Probably
to
a
find
rank.
out. Okay.
UB40.
He's standing in front of this other UB40.
Red
Red one. He's standing in front of this kid in front of the stained glass window, which is a devil with these horns. And I instantly formulated, because of what the show is, who I think that is representing. And I know all of you are going to be like, you're going to say Mephisto. No, I actually didn't think this one was Mephisto. I thought this was Loki. I thought this is a representation of Loki because this is Loki's show.
Yeah.
And it's about time hopping. Because if you look, the way the guy is sitting, the devil, with his foot on that little ball.
Yeah.
Those horns look like Loki's horns, and he sits like Loki sits.
He does.
So that's why
Like,
I thought it was
With
Loki.
his hands, the way he crosses his hands.
Yeah. That smug Loki look. So this is why I think it's representing Loki.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, you caught on to that quicker than when I saw. I was like, ooh, Chris is finally gonna get his wish.
yeah. I wish, but no, I didn't even think it was Mephisto. I thought it was Loki, just because time hopping, everything else. And then he draws this picture of this little stick person on his Game & Watch, and he's like tap 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 tap, and then all of a sudden the picture comes to life, and it's this shitty stick figure, but he's smiling.
Yeah, it's a happy. He's happy with
like-
his shittiness.
Do you know who did this? And the peasant looks and points at the devil.
Okay, so now we get a good look at it. Let's pause right here. That's one thing I didn't get to do, because I watched it, the first time through on my TV in the living room.
Right.
Here I'm like right up on it.
Because I think that throne looks like Odin's throne that he was sitting on.
Okay. Looking at all over good here. Why is he red though?
Because he's representing the devil. This is the church.
Okay, so well, he could have made himself look that way.
He is the god of illusion.
Yeah.
So he can appear however he wants. So I'm going to hold to this one. I think that's representation of Loki.
Probably right.
So, okay.
Yeah, you're probably right with that.
I'm
I mean, I know
hoping-
you're right with it because, but
So, and then they just said, don't worry, the devil's afraid of us. We're going to take care of him. And if you look, the kid's teeth are blue. It's like, that blue, what is it? And the kid holds up this candy, like this gum. And it's called Kablooey.
that's blueberry.
Blueberry, 9 units. And it's got like a little devil on it. And it's obviously a futuristic like gum.
It's very important later.
It is very important. It's like devil bearing gifts. Go ahead and run this for sequence period and any hits of temporal aura. The guy's like, we're not going to get anything. And Owen's just like, do it.
Make it happen now. Make it so.
Make it so. And he's like, the breach is nearing a red line. We need to go. And we don't know exactly what's going to happen here, but we got a good idea. He's like, go wait outside. He's like, it's fine. Go wait outside.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. And he's like, set a reset charge. And then this guy pops through with his file and says, there's something you want to see. And this is very important too. It's Loki's dossier. It says apprehended. If you look, very, very important. Variant L1130 race. Frost giant.
Yeah.
Weight or height 6'2".
He's taller than I thought he was.
Blue. Sex fluid. Which is awesome. This is the first time Disney has, and Marvel, and at least in the MCU, have a gender fluid character.
Well, that goes back to the comics because he's a. Oh, excuse me. Because he's neither male nor female. He's a god. Sector 1900 2099.
Well, and then here's another important part. Look at his name. Variant name. Loki.
Laffy son.
Laffy son. Yeah. It's not Odin's son.
That's his alias.
Like Thor's. Uh-huh. It's Laffy son. So, and then birthplace, Jotunheim. So just kind of cool. Just a lot of information on that dossier.
Yeah.
Like a lot. And the biggest thing to take from that is he's gender fluid. Next thing you know, they take him into like this courthouse. And you see these 3 faces up there. And it's, it's the 3 timekeepers.
Uh-huh.
But to me, it kind of almost looked like the Living Tribunal faces, which is a big part of the cosmic universe in Marvel. Which he's the judge, and basically in that.
Okay.
And the judge says, "How do you plead?" Wait, she said, "Oh, it's not a judge." Laffy son, variant L1130, aka Loki. Am I saying it right?
Laffy son.
Laffy son.
Uh-huh.
Is charged with sequence violation 72089. And then if you look, pay attention to this lady. She's going to play a big part in episode 2.
Mm-hmm. Very big part.
She's like, how do you plead? And he's like, Madame, a god doesn't plead. And he's just telling her, this is a farce. I want to go home. She's like, are you guilty or not, sir? He's like, guilty of being the god of mischief, yes. He's just defiant to the end. Guilty of finding all this incredibly tedious, yes. Guilty of crime against the sacred timeline? No, absolutely not. You have the wrong person. Like, oh, really? And who should we have? And he's like, I suspect the Avengers.
I love how he just has his defense all twisted up and ready to go.
He's the god of lies.
Mhm.
And they're like, quite the accusation. And you can smell the cologne of two Tony Starks. And it's like, you speak of time criminals, it's they you should be after. And Owen sneaks in, Owen's character. It's like, perhaps you could provide me with a task force and the resources, and I could return and eliminate them for you. And then L-15's like, whatever. And it's like, we're not talking about the Avengers.
Mhm.
They did what was supposed to happen. You escaping was not. So which means that was the variant. Now we know what the variation was against the sacred timeline. Not supposed to happen according to who? And she's like, the timekeepers. He's like, oh, the timekeepers, right. I just love how defiant he is.
Yeah. He is very interested in, speaking to those with power.
Mm-hmm.
So he wants to go straight to the top. And,
She's like-
that's not going to happen.
No. And she's like, what? He's like, what do they do? And she's like, keep the flow of time.
Mhm.
She just, just interaction between them. It's like, how do you plead? And he's like, guilty. And then he holds out his arms. He's like, of this. And then he pulls them in and he's like, you hear someone kind of chuckling and he goes, all right, hold on, let me do it again. He's like, he's thrusting. And it's B-15. And she's like, what are you doing? He's like, he's trying to use his powers, ma'am. And he's like, damn it, why won't it work? Magic powers that are no good in the TVA. The court finds you guilty and I sentenced you to be reset. So this tells us that the TVA is more powerful than magic, Loki's powers.
Yeah.
It's like, you're guilty. Next case, please. And they take Loki away. And he's like, reset. What does that mean? What is it bad? What does it mean? It's just some guy who just got sentenced. He's like, you ridiculous bureaucrats will not dictate how my story ends. She's like, it's not your story. Never was.
I like that line.
I do too.
I think that sets up so much. And it kicks him in the nuts, basically, because it's not about him.
Right. Right.
I bet you think this show is about you.
Don't you? And then Owen stands up and goes, I know what he's capable of. And he goes up and she goes, if you're doing what I think you're doing, this is a bad idea. And he's like, I know. She's like, anything goes sideways, it's on you. He's like, okay, I feel like I'm always looking up to you. I feel it's appropriate. Very Owen Wilson.
I like their banter.
I do too. And Owen still looks the same, just older now.
And he's older Wilson.
He's older Wilson. It's like, and who are you? And he just smiles. And Loki's like, I'm going to burn this place to the ground. I'll show you where my desk is. And then if you look, it's a very futuristic city. There's flying cars.
Yeah.
Like very, very futuristic looking stuff. It looks like Cloud City to me, kind of.
That's also what my daughter said. You guys are on the same level. So that's cool.
I'm glad to know I'm on the same level as a 13-year-old girl. Thank you. Bastard.
Is this an appropriate point to talk about your theory about the TVA and where it's located?
No, not yet, because Owen needs to say this first.
Okay.
He's looking out and, there's a guy driving with his emergency lights on, if you saw it down there.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, good Tinder for a fire, though. Come on. He's like, this place is a nightmare. And he goes, that's another department. No, that department. Here we go. Good Tinder for a fire, though. Come on. This place is a nightmare. Loki says, Only said, that's another department. Now that department, I'll help you burn down. Which makes me wonder if that is a reference to Nightmare.
Okay, so elaborate.
He said that, this place is a nightmare. He's like, no, that's a different department. Nightmare's department. So I'm wondering if Nightmare exists outside traditional realms. He's one of the, he's the guy who creates nightmares. He's a cosmic being.
Okay, so another cosmic.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's in Mephisto's realm, to be honest with you. I can't remember. But I don't know if that's a nod or not to that.
Very cool looking character. I'm looking at pictures right now.
Oh yeah, Nightmare is awesome, and he's a traditional Doctor Strange villain too,
Ooh.
which could lead into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
I would
Don't
think
know.
all this is eventually going to. It has
So
to.
if you go look at all, then you see like the elevator buttons, and there's all these weird like TSY circle with a no through it, an X, FE3. This has got to mean something.
Yeah, and I haven't been able to figure it out.
I haven't either. And
Don't know what's going on with that at all.
I don't
Somebody
either.
somewhere probably has a theory on it.
Let us know. And he's like, I'm Agent Mobius, so we know this is Agent Mobius. Loki's like, are you trying to kill me? Take me someplace to kill me? He's like, no, we're just gonna go talk. And he's like, no, I'm not going to, because we both know you like to talk. All right, here we go. So he said, how long have you been here? Mobius says, I don't know. It's hard to say. Time passes differently here in the TVA.
I wonder if time even passes there.
Here's the theory. It does.
Oh, okay. Now I see.
It's called the Loki Theory. So Loki is out of time right now, right?
Literally, like outside of time.
Literally outside time. Hold on one sec. Let me get my notes up. You talk about what you think, and let me get my notes up real quick.
Well, I'm thinking some things now based off the theory you told me, off show before we started recording. And so I'm gonna need once you lay your theory out there on the table, then I'll throw my 2 cents into it, because I think it's solid. It definitely has some merit to it.
Okay, here it is. So the TVA is the Time Variance Authority, right?
Mm-hmm.
The theory is that this Loki theory is that the TVA is in the quantum realm.
Okay.
Because if you remember in Ant-Man and the Wasp, when they went to the quantum realm, there was a city behind it. The theory is it's this city.
Ah,
Okay. So you're still with me on that?
still with you on that.
So, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp, when they found Janet in the quantum realm, Hope's mom,
Mhm.
they said, how are you still, basically the same? You've been here for like 30 years. And she said, time passes differently here in the quantum realm. Scott was gone in the quantum realm for 5 minutes, and it was 5 years. When they got him, they said, oh, time passes differently in the quantum realm.
I think your theory is solid.
The Avengers went through the quantum realm. The big bad is supposed to be Kang the Conqueror.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, Kang is in the quantum realm.
That works.
I remember that.
So there we go.
That works.
Hold on one sec.
Get him, dogs. Get him. Sick him.
Go on for a sec. Let me see what they're barking at.
Okay. So, so Chris's theory on quantum realm stuff, I didn't even catch that. When we talked about it off show a little bit earlier, and with the time passing differently would make all this make a whole lot of sense. I think it's a pretty solid theory. I think it's got teeth. It's got merit. Go ahead and kind of go on through a little bit. But, as Owen's character says, time passes differently. Loki asks him, what does that mean? He says, well, you'll catch up. You'll find out more. Loki keeps asking some questions about, you're part of the workforce. You work here, and so this is where and they said it earlier in the little briefing video that he was watching, that the workers for the TVA were created by by the timekeepers, and he just kind of reiterates that here a little bit. So everybody here, all the workers, everyone you see are creations of the timekeeper. So it wasn't the TVA was created. The agency was, well, I mean, the agency itself was created by the timekeepers, but also all the workers. So the TVA, the agency, and the TVA, the workers, were all a creation of the timekeepers. So they've got the power to create people.
Oh, going back to the theory real quick too.
Okay.
Ant-Man, the new Ant-Man and Wasp movie is called Quantum Mania. If the TVA is inside the quantum realm, they're traveling in and out. If it's set in the quantum realm and Kang created the TVA,
yeah,
it would all make sense that this is in the quantum realm. So something to think about.
We got quantum coming. We got cosmic coming. We've got hopefully mutants coming.
There better be mutants. Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, keep going on, and I'll join in here a sec.
Oh, I was just kind of going with it that I like how he calls the timekeepers 3 space lizards.
Space lizards, yes.
Excuse me. And so, have they said his name yet?
No, just that his name is Mobius. Agent
Okay, well,
Mobius.
that's what I was saying. If they've even said Mobius yet.
They said it's Agent Mobius. That's all we know.
Okay. So Mobius takes Loki into, it's gonna be like his hell of an office.
Yeah.
And then he's starting to talk about trust, and like he's wanting to use him. He's building up to why he's picked him or saved him, I guess, from punishment.
Right.
And Loki is just okay. So here's one thing. So Josta.
Yes, that was a cool thing. Is what Mobius has 2 cans of Josta Cola.
Yep.
Josta Cola was only made like 93, 94, something like that.
Looks like it was a high energy drink. Introduced in 95.
That was close.
And taken off the shelves in 99. So it was only around for like 4 years.
I was wrong on the time.
Yep. So that's cool. And you see
just a
there's
cool
a lot of little
throwback.
things they pull from different not different timelines, but different points in time.
Periods. Yep.
Yeah. There's some stuff later on too that Mobius talks about, but I'm still like, this office is just too cool to me.
I like it. I wish it was my office.
Yeah, I take it. The tech is weird here. I'm still gonna keep going on how the tech is weird.
I agree. When then Loki he's like, I live in whatever period time I want, and Mobius like, okay, and he tries to take out Mobius, and Mobius resets him, and Loki's just like, are you serious?
It reminds him again, like time works different here.
And then he takes him, puts him down by his giant Pokeball.
It's the Loki ball.
It's the Loki ball. Oh, it is the Loki ball.
Loki mon, gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all. Loki mon. I like that. And basically, he's just telling him,
trying to catch them all.
He is trying to catch him. Mobius is like, he tells him, Loki goes, you don't know anything about me. Mobius is like, I specialize in the pursuit of dangerous variants. He's like myself? He goes, no.
Particularly dangerous variants.
Yeah. He said, no, particularly dangerous. You're just a little pussy cat. In the very Owen Wilson way. And he said, got a series of questions, answer them honestly. And maybe I can give you something you want. It's like, you want to get out of here? So we'll start there. Should you return, what are you going to do? Loki, finish what I started. He's like, claim my throne. So we know Loki that's what Loki wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to do it, but he was born for it.
Yep, that's his reasoning.
He's like, you wouldn't understand. He's just trying to get more stuff. And Mobius like, try me. Like Midgard, aka the Earth.
So now you're Midgard, like happily. I like how he just keeps feeding him stuff. Like he's stroking Loki's ego a little bit in a weird way. You know, he's letting him talk about himself.
Yep. And he tells him Loki, the king of space, and Loki's just like, mock me if you dare. And he's like, honestly, I'm a fan. And he's like, why does someone with so much range just want to rule? And that got Loki thinking. And he's like, I would have made it easy on them. He's like, people like easy. The first and most oppressive lie ever uttered was the song of freedom. And this is kind of Loki's MO.
Mm-hmm.
For nearly every living thing, I love this part. Choice brings shame and uncertainty and regret and regret. All
the regrets.
He's like, there's a fork in every road, and always the wrong path is taken. And this just tells you, you said nearly every living thing. This just tells you Loki's literally, pardon the pun, but godlike complex. He believes he was destined to rule everyone.
Mm-hmm. I like how he says it. He's like, this isn't what I want to do. This is what I was born to do.
Right.
Been thinking about that line a lot.
It's his gift.
Mm-hmm.
Which I just find really interesting. He's like, so I guess you don't fall into the category.
So,
go ahead.
So now he's, bringing up the time keepers and saying they've, built quite a story. So he's still talking about the TVA as a whole. Like he's trying to act unimpressed by it, but I think he's incredibly impressed by it.
I think so too.
That's why he wants to meet with the timekeepers. He wants to try to work his Loki-ness on them he's probably seeing this as his chance to rule.
Right.
And then the little projector fires up. We see
and this projector is awesome.
Stark Tower and
Loki Defiant the Last.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what is this? It's like a sampling of your greatest hits, if I may. It's a 3D projector too.
Mm-hmm.
You see the Avengers when they were sitting over Loki from the Avengers? There's Loki where he says, I'll have that drink now. And Loki's like, no.
Because he offers him one.
He's like, and I remember I was there. And he goes, it's funny for someone born to rule, you're sure to lose a lot.
Yeah.
Might even say it's your nature.
Oh, he's gonna have to get some cream for that burn.
Ow! When he's like, this last person who told me that things didn't turn out so well. And he goes, Phil Coulson. They showed Coulson getting stabbed by Loki.
Makes me sad every time.
I do too. I love Coulson.
Important note, he stabbed him in the back.
Yep.
Comes up later.
Oh yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
That is an important note. Well, and what makes me sad is that I doubt Coulson will be back. They brought him back for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not canon anymore.
Well, they've
written it out.
This is going to open up everything, right?
Yeah.
Because it basically just makes anything possible that they want to do.
Right.
Everything that happened before is still canon, but with the possibility of all these different timelines now, or not now, but soon or whatever, you have the ability to bring back characters. You have the ability to have characters never exist and see how, so Coulson could come back. Stark could come back. It's going to be interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I agree. I just don't know where they're going to go.
No, they can go anywhere they want.
And Owen goes, didn't the Avengers come together to literally avenge him by defeating you? Touche. Like little solace to a dead man. He's like, do you enjoy hurting people? Making them feel small? And Loki's like, your games don't frighten me. He's like, making them feel little? I know what I am. He's like a murderer, a liberator, of eyeballs maybe. And they showed Loki taking in, what was that? Was that?
That's when he was, he needed that to scan so he get access to the vault in
Was that Age of Ultron?
No. It was. I think it was in Phase 1.
Winter Soldier?
Maybe.
No, that's Phase 2.
No. Was it the second Thor? Is that still Phase 1? No, this may not have been Phase 1 then. I'm trying to think. When was that? Son of a bitch.
Why can't we think of this?
This is probably the second Thor. I think it's from the second Thor movie.
No, because Cap came down on the Quinjet.
We're terrible at this.
Was this Civil War?
This was just the Avengers. I think.
I think you're right. We are terrible. I'm so sorry for you all having to listen to us debate this right now. We should know this. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was the Avengers.
Yeah, I think it's just Loki takes an eyeball in the Avengers. Yep, that's what it was.
Okay. So sorry
Phase
you guys
one, I
had to
was
listen to us for like Kyle was right. Yay!
Thanks, guys.
Again, apologize. You guys had to listen to us debate, which we should have known it was the Avengers.
Ow! Fuck me in the gotas!
Right in it.
Right in it, because that's what we just did. Mobius says, "Look at that smile. You're enjoying that." And then he's like, "Do you enjoy hurting them?" He's like, "I don't have to play this game. I'm a god." He goes, "What again? Mischief, right?" Yeah, I don't see anything very mischievous about this. He's calling him a dick.
Basically.
God of dicks. He's like, "Let's talk about your escapes. You're really
I'm
good
here
at
to
doing-
rule you as the god of dicks. What?
You
This
get a
sounds
dick,
terrifying.
and you get a dick."
Everybody gets a dick. I don't like this new kingdom.
I want to go back. And then this is a new scene, and
Oh, I love this.
yeah, he's very clean cut. It's a very Mad Men scene.
I knew
Like who's it, Don
what
Draper?
I knew exactly what this was as soon as I saw he was in the seat. Because I think maybe I'd heard something about it somewhere, but as soon as I saw what the flight attendant was wearing, and yeah, I knew exactly what this was.
What'd you think it was?
I knew it was DB Cooper.
From
DB Cooper is that's a real thing. In the late, what was it, the 70s?
I don't know this.
You don't know the story?
No.
So DB Cooper, he hijacked a plane.
Okay.
Just like how it's showing it happen here. So he hijacks a plane. Supposedly he was like very suave, very smooth, and how Loki kind of does here. They land the plane to refuel. I'm going to botch this a little bit, but he got some money out of the deal with some trade. Like he traded money for some of the hostages he had on the plane or whatever, because he told them they had a bomb. And then supposedly somewhere in thinking like north of California, between California and like Washington, Oregon, in that area is where the path of the plane was traveling. He jumped out of the plane with his parachute and a bunch of money and was never seen again. And
They never found him.
Never found him. Now there's been like money found and bills, like old money and stuff found up and down. There's a river, but yeah, this is like a real thing.
Oh. So they don't know if he lived or not.
Nope. It's it's presumed now that he didn't live, because like nobody knew who he was. DB Cooper was a fake name. Like he's just this, mystery. It's a pretty cool story. You should read up on it.
I'm going to now. I got homework.
Yeah, it's a short read. You can knock it out in like 5 minutes.
So, okay, why don't you go over this since you know the story so well?
And so this,
you basically did go over it.
Yeah, this is the retelling of that, but we find out that
Loki was DB Cooper.
Loki was DB Cooper. This is the whole scene playing out where he tells he has a bomb. He just, shows her the note. The trade-off for the money. But in this, Loki actually I don't know why he did it though. I think it's just a cool thing that they just threw in here. With the glasses on, that is the sketch that they gave of, if you look up a sketch of DB Cooper, like he kills it. Like that's perfect. But yeah, he takes the money, jumps out of the plane, and I think does he end up like yelling for Heimdall? I think he
Begin
does.
someday. Let's see. Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah,
Brother
Brother
Heimdall,
Heimdall,
you
you
better be ready. So this is explaining why they never found DB Cooper's body, because
Mhm.
he got the rainbow, or not the Rainbow Bridge, but the link.
He got bifrosted, and there goes all the money through the air. So
And that's why he says, "I can't believe you were DB Cooper. Come on, I was young and I lost a bet to Thor.
that's why he did it. Okay.
Where's the TVA when I was meddling in the affairs of men? Where it's like right there with you, just surfing the sacred timeline." And he's like, "You guys seal of approval?" He's like, "Well, not really approval or disapproval. I'd say more." He's like, "Yeah, back on subject."
And see that little bit with I was hoping that it was going to come out later that Loki was behind a lot of these like urban legends and mysterious people and things that have never been solved.
Right.
But I think it was just kind of a one-off thing.
You think so?
Yeah, I was really hoping for more of it, but I don't think it's going to happen at all. But it would have been so cool. So
Okay.
here's where Mobius is explaining why he kept this Loki around.
He's asking what makes Loki tick. And it's like, it's an illusion.
Yeah,
It's a cruel, elaborate trick conjured by the weak to inspire fear. A desperate attempt of control. Where have we heard this before?
Oh man. It's like almost word for word.
It's almost anyone that we see, the people who are rising up. I was thinking of Carly from the Flag Smashers.
Yeah. Yep. I can get behind that.
So, and Loki's just still basically trying to justify his existence. And here's the thing that I've noticed with all this. This Loki is defined by his past.
Yeah.
Everything he is defined by his past.
Here's something I've been wondering since we've gone through this, and like we know, this is kind of feeling an in between, because this is, if you don't really think too much about time travel, this is happening right after Endgame, right?
Right.
Yeah. So if you don't let yourself get too tied up in time travel, that's where this is. Makes me wonder if the Lokis that we see later, the Loki, is this Loki or a different Loki? Like, which Loki have we seen? Now I'm confused.
Time travel.
Whatever. Okay, multiverses and time travels and multiple Lokis.
Time travel. Okay, so basically, Loki's still defiant. You're pathetic. You're in a revelance. He still thinks, you're a footnote to my ascension. I'm going to be king. I'm going to be the ruler. He's like, if you wouldn't have picking up the Tesseract, you would have been taken to a cell in Asgard, and then you see the chains, Loki in chains, jingling, and we see his mother, and she's like, Loki, and he's like, hello, mother. Have made you proud, and she's like, don't make this worse. And he's like, this never even happened. He said, Moby said, not to you, not yet. The TVA doesn't know your whole past, but we know your whole life, how it's meant to be. Think of it as comforting. So this is what is supposed to have happened. Had Loki not escaped. Again, time travel makes my head hurt.
Because this would have actually been see, this is with the Tesseract. So this was in game, but this was their time travel in game, right? No, hold on.
No, Avengers.
Avengers, yeah.
Right after Avengers. So this would have been before Thor 2.
Right.
She's
Well,
like,
because Frigga's
always
still alive.
Yep, Frigga says, always so perceptive about everyone but yourself. And the Dark Elves attacked the Colonists, and you sent them to Thor. And he said, right when Loki said, you might want to take the stairs to the left. And he said, but instead, you sent them to his mother. And this is Thor 2 right here.
Mm-hmm.
And where it shows where she died. And Loki actually takes a step back. And you see Frigga dead on the ground. And this is the first time we actually see Loki. He's shaken.
Yeah. It bothered him. I mean, that's his mom. That's the one that, and you know, there's times in other movies where he talks bad about everything, but that moment hit him.
Yeah. He's like, where do you have her? And she's like, you let him right to her. He's like, you're lying. It's not true. And Mobius like, it's true. That's the proper flow of time. Happens again and again and again because it's supposed to, because it has to. TVA makes sure of it.
That line that Mobius said right there, it happens again and again and again, makes you think that, you know, time, at least here, is a loop.
Yep.
Right? It's a repeating cycle. This has happened, it's going to happen again, and it's going to happen again. So another time thing that's going to mess with your head.
Loki, you know, Mobius is pushing him. It's like, do you enjoy killing? He's like, Loki goes, I'll kill you. He's like you did your mother. Loki throws the chair at him, hits the projection, goes after Mobius, and Mobius hits the button, and Loki's back down on the ground and says, sorry, the time twister just loops you, not the furniture. He was supposed to be sitting on that chair.
Yeah. Whoops. I think it's called a time twister. That's cool.
Go ahead.
But he tells Loki his purpose is like, you were born to cause pain and suffering. That's your purpose. That's what it was. That's what it is. That's what it always will be. That's your purpose in life. And so I think this hits Loki here that he almost feels like his free will is like gone, right? Like everything's predetermined for him. Even if he wanted to not be a bad guy, he's going to have to be a bad guy. And then Mobius helps Loki back up. They kind of do the pro arm lift thing. Oh, excuse me. But they're interrupted by the Hunter Guard B-15 that we saw earlier.
B-15, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a situation. There's always a situation, so they head out. So she's chewing on Mobius.
About how it's a mistake. Yeah.
That's a mistake. He needs to be reset. Tells him that they lost another unit. So then means another attack had happened. He goes back to find his Loki. And Loki be gone. So Loki escaped from the office holding cell room thing. He checks his pockets. He realizes that Loki pulled one over on him.
Yep.
Lifted the time twister.
And okay, so he goes, mischievous scamp. I love that. And then Loki appears outside, and then another time door opens. And then if you look real close there, is that Peggy Carter?
Oh, go back. Let's look again.
Well, okay, I'm at 34:15, so you must have been.
No, I'm there, but yeah.
Look right there on the right. Look at her.
Let me go back a little bit here.
It looks like that same outfit that she has at during one of the episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Ooh. So yeah, we're at 34.
Same kind of hair. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to dive into that one. You keep going. Was Peggy Carter and Loki?
So that could be Peggy Carter. So then we see the dude from the front desk wheeling around a cart, and Loki gets this little shit-eating grin on his face. They're going through. It's like, look, he couldn't gotten very far, and like split up, prune on site. No pruning, no resetting. He can still help us. So Mobius wants him to help. Loki's just going in and out of offices at this point. And you see the dude from the front desk, and he's like, "Hey, I know you." He's like, "You're the criminal with the blue box." And then he shushes him and puts him down. He goes, "Ow!" He's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Casey." I love Casey. He's like, "Give me the Tesseract or I'll gut you like a fish, Casey." He's like, "What's a fish?"
How do you not know what a fish?
Yeah, how do you not know what a fish is? He's like, "I've lived my entire life behind a desk." Which brings up another point. If this place was created, this guy has always been behind a desk. Was he ever a kid?
That's a good question.
You know what I mean? Like,
Were they are they just always what they are?
I don't know. I really don't know.
So nothing definite on the Peggy Carter theory, but a lot of people think that that is her.
So it could be. And he's like, I'm going to hurt you. And he's like, okay, I comply. Geez, he opens this desk drawer. And he's like, oh. And then all of a sudden he gives him the Tesseract. And Loki looks down in this drawer. And it's all the Infinity Stones. Multiple copies of the Infinity Stones. And he goes, Infinity Stones? There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the Aether. 1, 2, 3, 4 time stones.
Looks like there's some jelly beans in there.
There's some jelly beans. I want to know where that metal is from, what that metal is. There's a lot of other stuff in here.
The metal looks like World War II era style.
Right.
Yeah, now I'm like looking at everything that's in here. There's like a pineapple plate. Looks like maybe a knife.
All sorts of stuff.
Sheath. Oh, is that a... No, it's not. I thought it might have been like a mini arc reactor in the
Oh,
corner
yeah,
there.
yeah. No, kind of looks like it.
Yeah.
And if you look there, is that another Tesseract up there?
That's the one he's holding.
Oh, it's the one he's holding.
Yeah.
And Loki's like, how? How do you have these? And he's like, oh, we actually have a lot of those. Some of the guys use them as paperweights. So for those of you who don't know, the Infinity Stones don't work outside of your universe. And the TVA is outside of universes. They're outside of time. So in the DC versus Marvel arcs, they had Thanos versus Darkseid. And Thanos was on pretty even footing with Darkseid, was even winning, but he had to use the Infinity Stones. Once they went to Apocalypse outside of our reality, our universe, the stones were depowered. Or they're gems in the comics.
Yeah.
So they only work technically. I wonder if that's the arc that they're going to take with this.
I'm looking to see what else is in there. There's a poker chip. It looks like a Honus Wagner baseball card. Hold on.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, yep, that's a Honus Wagner baseball card. Don't ask me why I know that. I just know that.
Yep. You do that. Well, and if you look here, this point when he said that these guys use them as paperweights, Loki just realizes how truly helpless the situation is, because the Infinity Stones are the most powerful force in the universe. And these guys use them as paperweights, which shows us that the timekeepers are completely... I mean, they're gods. Loki thinks of himself as a god. These guys are way above that, which scares me for Phase 4, by the way.
Oh, it's going to be so interesting.
Loki slowly kind of walks out, and Casey's walking with his little cart, just kind of looking at him.
He's in the room where they have the big Sacred Timeline monitor on the wall. So this is kind of like ground control for NASA, but for the TVA. They monitor everything with this high-tech stuff.
Yeah.
It's so high tech.
And shit. Loki goes, "This is the greatest power in the universe." Casey's like, "Yep." B-15 finds him and hits, Loki ports with a little jumper. And Casey's cart disappears, and Casey goes, "I do not forgive you. You almost hit me."
He's still
I
confused
really
about
like
fish.
him. I really like him.
Mhm.
Loki goes up there, and then he's back in the room again. And he's looking at this picture, and then he goes back to the Loki ball. I love how you named it the Loki ball.
Yeah. Lokimon.
And Lokimon, and now he's going to look at it all, and
Goes back to
sees
Frigga.
Frigga down on the ground dead. And this is the turning point, I think. Well, the second turning point. First turning point was the Infinity Stones as paperweights.
Yeah.
And Loki basically starts crying.
Yeah.
And then he sees Odin. "I love you, my sons." And this is from Ragnarok, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Remember this place when he dies? And because this hasn't happened for this Loki yet.
Nope,
Odin
he's
disappears.
peering into the future.
And Loki just kind of loses it at this point. And, Thor, he sees Thor going, "Loki, I thought the world of you, I thought we were going to fight side by side forever." And then they showed the end scene of Ragnarok, the end fight scene. He's like, "Maybe you're not so bad after all, brother." I'm like, "Maybe not."
You always these things give you hope for Loki, but you don't want a good Loki
No.
all the time. An occasionally a good Loki.
Oh, and then he sees his death here.
Yeah.
At Thanos' hands. Thanos is, the undying. You should choose your words more carefully. I love that part.
Mm-hmm. So he's witnessed his full run.
Mm-hmm. Kind of sad if you think about it.
Seen his mom die, seen the aftermath of Ragnarok, sees himself die, sees Odin die.
And then sees himself die.
Mm-hmm.
And that hit him hard.
That's the course that he's supposed to play.
Mm-hmm.
Or
according to the TVA.
Travel. Yeah, according to the TVA. That's something that we'll have to get into some more too. Is say the sacred timeline is there for a reason. They kind of explain it a little bit here and there, but I just wondering what the reason is why it has to be that timeline. You know what I mean?
Right.
If they're sticking with that timeline because there's an alternate timeline that they don't want to happen because it would be detrimental to the timekeepers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not because they don't want it to happen because it's better for, the universe, because if it happens, it's bad for them. I could probably word that a whole lot better, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Nefarious reasons. There's always a hint of nefariousness. So he's watched all the way through his file now. The hunter, B19, B15 is back.
B52. She is, dude. She's a brawler.
Yeah. But Loki gets one up on her, and
it's the slap bracelet on her neck.
Oh, look who's getting blasted through time now.
Loki's smart. I can't help but like this character. Go ahead. Give me a sec here.
So he's using the time twister. And now he's just basically playing with her. He's bringing her back, throwing her forward, bringing her back, throwing her forward. This is his mischievousness coming out where he has to mess with it. But he does it over and over again, super fast. And she's cutting in and out. She's like, stop it. And then he taps it hard. So I don't know where he sent her. I think we see her in a second where he sent her. But he throws the time twister down. We got the guy from the desk talking about fish again as he's walking through the hallways. B-15 pops up in front of him. And he's like, oh, that variant got away. And she's like, oh, yeah, I know. But Loki doesn't try to escape. Like, this is where he's settling in. Like, I guess he's accepting his fate at this point. Like, he gets defiant about it again later on, and he's probably going to happen multiple times. But right now, he's just kind of giving in. Like, he knows this is what it is. He said, I can't go back. Back to his timeline. That's where he wants to go. He wants to go back to where he was supposed to be, but he knows he can't. Yep. I think he's being honest here when he's saying, like, I don't enjoy hurting people. This seems like an honest Loki moment.
It does, but I don't know. He's the god of lies and deceit. He manipulates people to his own ends. So I don't know if I buy it.
I think, well, when he says that I've been hurting people because I have to, he's like, I don't enjoy it. I do it because I have to. I think he believes that he has to.
Right.
Right. He doesn't have to, but he believes that. So this may be him, being honest, as honest as he can be, because he's actually saying something, the reality may not be the truth, but what he believes, then that's his truth.
So
coming to terms with the Infinity Stones are useless there.
Yeah. He said you tried to use that. He's like several times. Loki puts down the Tesseract. That's how you know he's defeated.
Yeah. He's like, well, screw it.
And what Owen's offering him, Mobius is offering him, is like salvation. He's like, the variant's been offering Minutemen. And he's like, you need the god of mischief to catch him. He's like, why me? He's like, the variant we're hunting is you. And I love his face. He's like, I beg your pardon. And the next thing you know, we see Salina, Oklahoma.
Hey.
In 1858.
Oh.
And, I heard that they were recording in Oklahoma at some point, too.
So you want to relay the significance of Oklahoma in the MCU timeline, particularly with Asgard and Loki and Thor?
So when Asgard got destroyed by Ragnarok in the comics, the Asgardians relocated to Oklahoma. It wasn't Salina. I'm trying to remember where it was.
It's about like Lawton somewhere. It's a really small. It's southwest Oklahoma.
Or was it Moore?
No, it wasn't Moore.
It was somewhere in Oklahoma. Look it up real quick.
I'll tell you real fast.
But they relocated, and this was during the whole Secret Wars thing where Loki. We remember how we said Loki is gender fluid. He became Lady Loki in this during this whole time period. And so yeah, they relocated this whole run into, I want to say this is late 90s, maybe early mid 2000s. I can't remember. But they relocated Asgard in Oklahoma, which probably the best and only good thing that's ever happened to Oklahoma, besides the thunder.
Yeah. Well, and then Every Man's Guide to Nerdom.
Yeah, and Every Man's Guide to Nerdom. Thank you. Yep. That was very important. That's a historic day. That was a holiday. So yeah, there's that. Next thing you know, we see this. Looks like some sort of sword almost. And it says the time signature is early 3rd millennium. Or maybe it's a shovel. Who knows? Guy picks up the ground, sniffs it, and goes, there's oil. And it looks like it's burning in the back, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Came back here to get rich. Maybe we should find out and look for him, sir. And it's like, nah, not worth the paperwork. Just prune it, let's bail, set a charge. So they go to reset the timeline. And then you see, they said, wait, someone's there, like in the mist. And it's this hooded figure. And they're like, check it out. They get their little stun batons on. And then the figure holds up this lantern, drops it, and the whole place starts burning, and it's, you know, oil, what they were talking about. The Minutemen are all burning. And this one guy, the only guy who's left is crawling, I think, to go get the charge to reset it. And it's Hunter U-92. They get pulled. And all of a sudden you see the reset charge pulled and then the figure standing in fire.
Bum, bum, bum.
And that's the end of our episode.
Still trying to find what city it was in Oklahoma. I found this before. Appearances. Would have been in Fantastic Four.
City in Oklahoma, Asgard.
Oh, why I can't Google through this.
Broxton, Oklahoma.
Broxton?
Broxton in Caddo County. Is a couple miles out.
Okay, so that is Broxton. So where is that? That's southwest Oklahoma City, I think.
Sounds about right.
Yep. Yeah, it's down by Lawton. So
but there you go. And there's our first episode of Loki. So a little slow.
Mhm.
I enjoyed it, but it was a little slow.
it was.
Episode 2 really picked up though.
Episode 2 does. I think we're going to get a good mix of action and slowness. Like, you know, WandaVision was a slow build up. Falcon Winter Soldier was like from the get go high energy. I think we'll kind of hit a mid ground. This
All right.
How many episodes are there going to be?
I don't know. I think maybe only 6 is my guess. I think it's going to be nice though. Something important to note. Chof won our little who's listening for the gift card.
Nice. Congratulations,
So,
Joe.
Good job, Chof. We have a new listener in France, apparently.
Oh. Well, I
I-
really butchered that whole French thing earlier then. I
Yes,
felt
so we
terrible about that.
apologize. Ireland, we're still holding strong in
With our 2?
with our 2. Hey, you two, tell a friend.
Oh, here we go. 6 episodes of Loki, by the
6.
way.
Okay, so there's 6. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have fun with this. Like I said, we're gonna release 2 episodes when you're hearing this. And then I also found out something cool. I was telling Kyle, for $200, we can rent out the Cinemark here in Tulsa for Black Widow for up to 20 people. I was thinking, I'm not going to be able to throw down 200 right now.
I can put some in on it, though.
But if you guys want, maybe we could have like an EGTN movie for Black Widow.
Yeah,
It'd be
we'll get
kind of
enough
cool.
people to do it. I say we do it.
So just let us know in chat who might be interested. I think it might be kind of cool. And that's a couple weeks away. That starts on the 9th, July 9th.
Yeah.
So, well, of course, we need to book it now. So
It'll be here before we know it.
if you guys are interested, let us know.
Could be fun. A little get together.
Eventually, once we start making money from this podcast, I'd love to do that for you all. Just have stuff like that where we can rent it out and just invite you guys. But we don't make any money from this right now.
We don't make shit.
I'm spending a lot of money on this podcast.
We make nothing.
We make
But-
nothing.
We don't do it to make the money. We have this
No.
is fun for us.
I would like to make a little bit of money so we could do something and give back to you guys. Though.
Well, yeah.
Eventually we'll get there, but that's not the reason for the podcast. We'll do it as long as you guys keep enjoying it. And even then, if you guys don't enjoy it, we'll still probably continue to do it.
We'll probably
We
keep on
enjoy it.
going.
We like it. It's a good, I think it's a good stress release for us.
Yep.
So with that, we'll talk next time about episode 2 of Loki. Thank you for listening to Every Man's Guide to Nerddom. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kyle, and wherever you guys are, have a good night, morning, evening, and be good to each other.
See ya.
Bye.
Nerd Corker, rise up. It could get elevated. Nerd Corker, rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore used to be just a made up word. MCs shied away from